I just wanted to add on what my colleague has highlighted as key issues that has come out of this Indaba. As I said, the purpose of this Indaba was to come up with cutting-edge solutions that will help Zambia and your nations to culminate into policies that will lead to regional integration. I emphasize the word regional integration, and Zambia took a lead in organizing this summit so that together, as Africa, we can work together. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that was highlighted from Mr. Kaoma's presentation was how to achieve the African Agenda 2063, where supply chain was discussed, and a number of countries, including Kenya, Zambia, and others, agreed how the supply chain was going to be mobilized. I'm sure you remember in Mr. Kaoma's presentation, where they met in Ghana. The idea, ladies and gentlemen, is to promote free trade. I'm emphasizing on regional integration, is to promote free trade. Africa has come up with what is known as Africa Continental Free Trade Area. This is an institutional framework that will allow us to trade, to increase intra-trade amongst ourselves as nations. That's the idea, so that we are able to export to ourselves, rather than exporting to Europe. Africa has got 1.2 billion people. How do we mobilize ourselves and ensure that we have that kind of business? So we need to have consolidated legal framework for the continent. The Ministry of Finance and National Planning in Zambia highlighted a number of these issues, including how debt management is handled in nations. Most cases, politicians will blame each other. We have inherited an empty coffer. How do we do it? But there is a mechanism from international point of view where debt management can be handled, and the Ministry of Finance was able to highlight those issues clearly. I'm sure I remember issues of double taxations were highlighted. Am I right? By the Ministry of Finance Zambia. Meaning, if you are an investor in Zambia and you are also in South Africa, you should not be charged twice. That is good news for ourselves. But there was no framework to do that. But Zambia has laid in that and has signed a number of agreements that regulate that, so that an investor should not be taxed twice. Zambia is a good destination for investment. Our president, Mr. Haile Hichilema, always says this meeting should culminate in getting an investor. If you're a person from Ghana, have you contacted Zambians? What sort of business is here? If you are from Tanzania, what sort of business do you have, or what can you do as a Zambian in Tanzania? That's the kind of cooperation. It's not just a meeting, but to have bilateral relations, multilateral relations that will lead to business. There was also issues of financing framework to support women and youth. And I was humbled by our Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development in Zambia, how they are supporting women in Zambia and the youth to ensure that poverty is reduced. I'm a poverty expert. I have a passion for that for Africa. I did a case study on Comesa, a case study of Zambia. Ladies and gentlemen, poverty levels in Zambia and other African nations is too high. What are we doing about that? So this conference should help us to have strategies that will do that. Anti-corruption corruption in Zambia highlighted also the framework. How the UN framework is an anchor to have similar anti-corruption policies in the entire African continent that are similar to fight corruption, so that we are not different on technologies. It really emphasized on that. Am I right? That was discussed. And also CDF. But what we have learned as Zambians from Kenya, they said CDF in Kenya is not managed by parliamentarians. It is a fund that goes up to the grassroots levels. And including electronic procurement, how it is done there. Those of you that are from local government in Zambia, it's a case study how we can improve on what we do, how we do things here. Those that are coming from other nations, it's a vehicle for development to reach the citizenry. Our theme was talking about bringing development to citizens. That's the purpose why we're here. So CDF was done. When it comes to audit, I hope a man from Zambia was here who presented the paper. I love it from South Africa. They said it's not just an audit. Audit must be evidence-based. Don't just accuse people, writing reports, full of reports, 100 pages. Do you have evidence to defend what is in that report? That is South Africa. We should learn from South Africa. It's a developed economy, it's a big economy in the Southern region, and we have that respect for that. And we call them, want to learn one or two things from them. So the way we do audit, we have evidence, so that we don't waste time and taxpayers' money investigating things that have no evidence. You go to court, you lose it all. Citizens are not interested in that. So it must be evidence-based. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm given 5 minutes. The impact of free education. Ministry of Education in Zambia treated it very well. For the first time, under our current leadership, the President, Mr. Livingstone, he's got passion for free education. In the long days when Zambia was created, our big people used to have free education from the University of Zambia, including Livingstone. I think he received that. He introduced free education and he looked at the impact of free education. Free education will lead to competitiveness in the region in terms of labor markets. Zambia used to export teachers to Botswana in the early 90s. My brother is one of those that benefited. There's a school here in Livingstone, Community Academy. There are 5 nations that are supporting this school because he created networks from Botswana. I used to live in Botswana, probably that's why you saw me dance there. I had that passion. I lived with those people. When I saw them, they are my sisters, my brothers. So I wanted to show that we still remember you. Botswana, where are you? Yes, that was from my heart. My brother is who he is, and the international network is created because we live there. And you are here to create networks. In business school here, Zambia is a free market economy. Okay? The free education here has increased enrollment. He further said they have introduced boarding grants to encourage people. They have also, of course, Zambia qualification framework, which regrets qualification to have the same standard like Kenya. You saw the Kenyan man when they say ask the minimum degree holder. Zambia has done that. We try to beef up that, and we are Form 1 for the first time who will be writing A-levels in Zambia. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm grateful, especially I'm Director of Corporate Affairs Southern Africa region, for your coming in large numbers. I'm humbled. Thank you so much. We hope to meet in Cape Town 2026. South Africa, we are coming. We are good at mobilizing as Alliance Procurement and capacity building. We work with government. And finally, I want to thank also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation in Zambia. They did a brilliant job. Thank you, Ministry of Finance.